Alright, so this semester I worked at Fraser, volunteered at Fraser, in the pre-taught room where I would like read to kids and I would play with them, and I spent the mornings there from 8 to 10 on Wednesdays and Fridays for about 3 weeks. And so one of the things that you really had to understand was nonverbal communication when you worked with the kids, because a lot of the time they couldn't really say what they wanted, so you had to kind of figure out from body language or the way they were acting what exactly it was that they were trying to tell you that they needed or what they wanted. Verbal communication obviously was big too. It was a lot of teaching the kids how to verbally communicate what they wanted, and I did a lot of reading to the kids. So a lot of the time it was like talking to somebody from a foreign country where you would use small words and figure out exactly what these kids were trying to tell you, as well as trying to communicate to the kids to figure out how to make them understand what you're trying to tell them. Obviously, trying to get them to understand wasn't nearly as hard as it was for me to understand them, having not worked with them at all before going in and talking to them, and not having a ton of exposure to really small kids made it difficult for me to understand exactly what these kids wanted. Understanding time with these kids, they definitely work at their own pace. So chronemics is a big thing with these kids. So they will choose to follow exactly what you say, do exactly what you want when you tell them, or they will not. So typically when you ask somebody to do something, it happens relatively quickly, but with these kids, they are 1 and 2, really, really, really not wanting to do what you want to tell them to do. And so they will, I don't know, they'll flop on the floor or pretend they didn't even hear you. So time is not really a constraint these kids work under, that obviously. They'll do things when and where they want to do it. Yeah, so obviously it really depended on what these kids decided they wanted to do. Competition is a huge thing in these classrooms, and it was actually one of the biggest things that the teachers were working on, helping the kids with. So friendly competition is good. Competition with friends, which ends in biting, not good. So a lot of the competition was over attention from the teachers or toys that other kids were playing with. So one kid would be playing with a toy, and the other kids would see this kid playing with the toy and want to go and obviously play with the toy, and which always ended in conflict. And so that was a big thing. Sharing is a big thing that they were teaching in this classroom. Another thing would be, like I said, attention from the teachers. These kids, they would try and at one point I think I had 6 kids on my lap trying to all read the same book that I was reading to them. So that got a little crowded, and definitely showed the competition side of this, because some of the kids, they would want to be like right in the middle of my lap, and then all of the rest of the kids would come over and also want to be in my lap, and I only have so much lap space, so the competition for that was pretty rampant most days. Usually this competition ended in pushing or shoving, or like I said, one time it did end in biting, which was not good. So competition is a huge thing in these classrooms. Also, there's a lot of different approaches to working with these kids. I also worked in the toddler room one day. So those kids are a little bit more, they like to dance around what they should or shouldn't do. So the teachers are a little bit rougher isn't the right word, but a little more demanding than they are in the pre-taught room. Just because these 2 and 3-year-olds are a little bit more demanding themselves and are a little bit harder to get what you want from them, or a lot a bit harder. So like in the pre-taught room, there was the cool down corner where the kids would just go and hang out when they hadn't been listening. But in the toddler room, they had like 3 different places to have kids in timeout. So it was a little bit of a different dynamic from room to room. And I think that applies, today, where depending on where you are in the world, there's different dynamics and businesses and schools and homes even. So it was really cool seeing the differences there and understanding how the different places worked. So yeah, that's a little bit about what I did this semester at Fraser in the Children's Center. Okay, it's the second day that I did it's my second day of working at Fraser. The first day I ran late, so I couldn't make this video, but basically what I've been doing is I've been working in the pre-taught room at Fraser, working with kids who are basically all kinds of kids. There's about 6 to 7 kids in the room, and me and the teacher, or the main person, and we play with the kids, we sing with the kids. Today I actually got to go to the toddler room because there was not enough people in there for how many kids they had, and so I hung out with the toddlers. They're crazier than the pre-tots, a lot crazier actually. They were a lot of fun. They are learning to share in both rooms. That's the biggest thing that they're really trying to learn right now. So I had a lot of fun today. I love playing with these kids. They're so full of energy and always learning, and I am from them as well, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, that was what we did today. We sang with the kids, we learned the days of the week, we read the Angry Max books, which was new for me. I've never done that before. The kids, they like to jump on people, so I'm gonna be feeling that over the weekend, but it was a lot of fun. So, see you next time. Okay, so just got done with my third day of volunteering at Fraser. Today it was a little bit more challenging than the past couple because the kids were a little bit more, they had a little bit of a harder time listening today, but that's okay. I mean, they're like 1 and 2, not a age where they want to always listen. A couple of the kids were pretty cuddly because I guess probably because they weren't feeling so great, or they were just missing their parents a little bit. Some of the kids got a hold of my keys today. That was fun. Running around. I'm pretty sure it was in somebody's mouth at one point. Not sure how I feel about that, but okay. What else did we do today? We danced. We played games. We rolled around on the floor. There was a little bit of
hair pulling today, which was not so great. But hey, once again, they're 1 and 2, kind of like to push their boundaries a little bit. So today was a little bit different and new for me because the kids were like literally right on top of me, which is how I play with my younger siblings. But these kids were on top of me and not trying to wrestle me down. They were on top of me and just cuddling, which was weird for me because when my younger siblings would be on top of me, it's all fight, 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 and that's not how these kids are. So it's different learning that way for me. These kids, they're so much fun. My hat is pretty much sent around the room. All of the kids try it on. Pretty sure there's a game of peekaboo that goes along with it, which I don't really know how that works. The kids are the only ones who know how that works. I asked the teacher and she said she didn't know how that works, so that was fun. You know how those games are, you play the game and you have no idea how to play, and the kids don't really explain it to you except for telling you that you're playing it wrong. It's fun. Yeah, these kids, they're so much fun. I've been having a lot of fun playing with them, so that's what we did today. Yeah, see you next time. Okay, so today was my 4th day at Fraser. I was still in the pre-taught room today. We played games right away, and they were playing songs when I got there. Listened to songs and then we played, and then it was comfy day today. So we had kids in their pajamas, which was pretty fun. There were some pretty cute pajamas. One of the teachers had Chewbacca pajamas, which was very cool. And then we watched Inside Out and ate popcorn and drank juice boxes. And yeah, today was a pretty chill day. Didn't do a whole lot when I was there, other than that. It was different because obviously I don't watch a lot of kids movies anymore, so it was cool watching a Disney movie again with a bunch of kids. And yeah, today wasn't super exciting like it usually is. We didn't have a lot of bad behavior because mostly the kids were invested in the movie. So yeah, see you next time. Okay, so second to last day, and obviously my hair's a mess today. We finally went outside for the first time all week, and it was a lot of fun until the garbage truck came, and that was terrifying. For some of the kids, it was like they were more cuddly than I've ever seen them, and some of them have been sick the whole time that I've been coming here. It's kind of strange to think that when you're so small, something so trivial and something you don't even think about every day could be terrifying. For me, it's like, it was a little bit of an eye-opener just how scary some things for me that are completely normal can be for somebody who's as young as these kids are. It was a very interesting thing today. We didn't do a whole lot else. We went outside, we played and listened to music like we usually do, but playing outside was about where was the biggest thing we did today. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, as it usually is, and I look forward to doing it one last time on Friday. Okay, so last day, and today was a bit of a doozy. The kids didn't really want to listen today. We had pretty much continuous timeouts today. The kids, they were pushing a lot and hitting a lot. Nobody bit anybody today, which was good. But it was a little bit, I mean, you think that you know, they're together all the time. They should probably get along. But I think that's kind of also why they don't always get along, which exactly like everybody else. They just take it out differently than adults do. They, you know, push and hit. We did craft today. That was fun. Basically, we painted their hand and then stuck it on a piece of paper and then sent them back to go play. Yeah, there was a little bit of drama where one of the kids hit her mouth on one of the things that hold the tubs that hold the toys. But I mean, it's okay. She was fine. She didn't really get hurt or anything. Yeah, one of the leaders was gone today, so there was a little bit more work for me to do, which was okay with me. But yeah, today was my last day, and I really, really enjoyed going and playing with these kids. They have a ton more energy than what I'm used to, even with 3 younger siblings. Yeah, they've been great. This has been a lot of fun. So, thank you. See you later. See you next time.